here's our brioche. It's been about 40 minutes later. What was that? And it's kind of sat down into the corners of our container. I'm gonna get my hands a little bit wet, and then we'll make a quick little stretch and fold. So when I say wet, I mean just really just pretty lightly moistened, damp. They don't need to be like dripping wet. I want to have a little bit of grip. So you can see, it's starting to get some elasticity here. It's not that, rough ball of dough that we started with. So I just fold, tuck, tuck. I'm just creating some tension in the dough. And that is all we need. So it's not sticking to my hands. I'm just tucking the sides under, create a little bit of tension. We'll come back in 40 minutes and we'll do it again. So right now you can see there's some good corners in the container. This should sit down and expand, and then it'll be even more elastic 40 minutes from now. All right, here's our brioche. You can see it's kind of filled out into the corners a little bit. It's relaxed, it's sat down a little bit. We got a little bowl of water this time. Get my hands wet enough to keep the dough from sticking to me. And we're gonna take it out. And same thing, we're gonna tuck it, tuck, tuck, fold, fold. Just bring in the, the corners, the sides into the middle, trying to get them to stick together a little bit, create a little bit of tension. We don't want to go so far that we rip any holes or any windows into the dough. We just want to create some tension again. So back into our container, you see corners again. It's a pretty well-formed shape. So 2 down, 2 to go. We'll see you in another 40 minutes. Okay, wet hands. Here we go, 3rd time. Stretching our brioche, and it's sat down, it's filled out into the corners. And same as before, tuck, tuck, fold it up. We're creating tension in the dough. I'm starting to see some air pockets in here. I don't know if you can see them with the light here. Very small air bubbles. Not worried about preserving that yet. And that is it. It's that easy. So we've got corners in the container again. It's holding kind of a shape. And 45 minutes, we'll come back around and stretch it for the last time. Okay, last time stretching. So you can see that our dough has expanded into the corners. It's sat down, it's relaxed. I'm gonna go last time, a little water on the hands, just a little bit. It's pretty easy dough to work with the amount of fat that's in it. And then we'll tuck it, we'll fold it, get some stretching happening. And that is all. Maybe go a little more. That's about it. You can start to see it's going to start ripping open. And that's about as far as I can take it. All right, so we got space in the container again. And we'll deal with this at 10 p.m. before I go to bed. All right, it's 10:30. Let's wrap things up for today. Here is our brioche. It's full, it's expanded, it's got a lot of volume. I need to knock a little bit of air out of it, because if I don't, it's going to pop the top off. It's probably going to expand out of the container. It's going to dry out in the fridge. It's going to be bad news. So got a little bit of water here. I'm not going to kill it. I'm not going to crush it down, but I'm going to definitely take a little bit of air out of it, just so I know that tomorrow, I already know my schedule tomorrow. I don't have time to shape this in the morning. So I'm just taking a little bit of air out, and now it's going in the fridge. And the fridge is cool because it's going to cold proof, it's going to develop flavor, it's going to be slowed down, and then I'll shape it when I can, which I think is going to be at sometime after lunch, my time tomorrow. So that's when I'll see you next. Now this is going in the fridge. So we're going to be baking in a loaf pan. And I always line my loaf pan with parchment paper. It makes it easy to get the bread out. This is actually a pre-owned piece of parchment paper. I used it for something else, but it's still good because it's clean. So we're just going to use a knuckle, fit a corner in here, tuck it down the side, just work your way around. This is almost not video worthy, but makes things clear, right? I do want to make sure that I don't have a ton of wrinkles. You're gonna have some. You're gonna have creases. But, you know, try and flatten them into the loaf pan as best you can. And then, you know, really crumpling up the edges will help hold it down in place while you're working your way around. All right, it's always good to have everything ready, mise en place. Now my loaf pan is ready for when I shape my dough.